Hey everybody, Draco's here once again with another 3 takeaways from X Day of Groups. Today it is day 3, and day 3 was honestly a banger. It was really good games throughout the day for me. Obviously it's debatable as to the quality of games. I'll say really hype games over the course of the day. Really wild games. I absolutely loved watching them, and I honestly can't wait to see what the final day of week 1 brings. But here are my 3 takeaways from day 3. First up, this one will make a lot of NA fans happy, I think. So MSI Xsmithy is dead. He's gone. Now, if you missed MSI or you didn't get to see Xsmithy's performance, let me tell you, you've saved yourself, because it was a very rough tournament for this man. The Hecarim he played was abysmal. He wasn't finding any impact on the map. He was irrelevant in the early game, and in a tournament where everyone was telling me that impact was going to be the weak point for this team, impact actually played pretty well, and it was Xsmithy who was dragging far behind. Now we fast forward to Worlds 2019, and everything is completely different for Team Liquid. Xsmithy has been absolutely everywhere in the early game, making plays, getting his lanes ahead. I think on average 3K plus A at 15, which is among the top junglers. The highest is 4. It's like Clids, or say was it 3.4 coming into the day. So currently he's tied for number 3. That was at the start of day 2. Might have changed coming into day 3, but significantly more impact. Not afraid to sacrifice himself, and still can also make big heroic plays like the Baron steal. I think just a fantastic tournament so far for Xsmithy, looking really good on the side of TL, and it may not be perfect. There are still some moments where he gets caught out, but it's a damn good start. The mechanics are showing up for a guy who always the joke is like old man, doesn't have hands, can't play the game, but gets the EQ flashes clutch, steals the Baron perfectly as Gragas. What more can you really ask for? All right, for number 2, this one's near and dear to my heart. Kaisa is too forgiving. Now this comes from the fact that I think that there's a lot of mediocre AD carries losing out in early to mid game that are still able to be monsters in team fights because of how powerful Kaisa's kit is. And of course Zion Kaisa, I think, undisputed best bot lane picks, but after seeing how good Kaisa's been, once again, for people that I don't normally consider to be great AD carries, I think what she does is simply just too much. And part of this stems from her ridiculously adaptable build path. We've all seen it, the advantage of going mana immune first into that second pickaxe for the early Q evolve. You can go Stormrazor Rageblade. You can go mana immune Rageblade Nashers if you want to be mostly magic damage. Mana immune Rageblade Runaan's if you want to kind of have a split damage profile. And on top of that, because she benefits from AP and AD, pretty well across the kit as a whole, she unlocks access to 2 defensive items that no other AD carry has, which is Zhonya's and Banshee's Veil. Now Banshee's Veil, mixed feelings. It's kind of a meh item. That 40-second cooldown's too long, but a Zhonya's in the middle of a fight is super game changing and is significantly better in my opinion than the likes of GA, which I guess you would argue is the AD equivalent. So whatever you need, you can build it and you can still output a ton of damage, basically. And on top of that, you can set yourself up to spike on 2 or 3 items. Now, for the most part, the old Kaisa build spiked on 2. That was the double evolve of the Rageblade plus the Stormrazor. Obviously nerfed a few times, so it comes in later. But now you can go Mana Immune Rageblade Nashers. You still get an early Q evolve. Your E evolve is a little bit later, but when you evolve E, you're also evolving W. So literally all 3 of your evolves on your 3rd item. It's very strong, does a ton of magic damage. And on top of that, you're pretty much always going to have a split damage profile because Q is physical damage. Your plasma stacks are going to give you magic damage, and your autos are going to do, well, kind of a mix with Nashor's procs and Ginsu's procs. And there's really no great itemization against that. You can argue Adaptive Helm, obviously, for the plasma stacks, but who the fuck builds Adaptive Helm like that? There's like no champions in the meta that's good against, and because everyone's taking 2 to 3 damage sources on any given team comp, you can't just buy a single item to cover Kaisa, and that's super powerful. And now you compare this and add this to the kit itself, right? And I already mentioned the split damage profile, but the Q gives you huge burst damage on isolated targets. It's 400 if all 10 rockets connect at max rank. Which is obviously a bit of a dream scenario, right? It's not as easy as a Kha'Zix isolated Q, but it is still very strong. You get stealth, you get move speed, similar to Vayne Q with the stealth and the maneuverability. The most important part of her kit to me is by far the ultimate. I think it's ludicrously powerful. The ability to reposition in any fight, the ability to make a massive shield that'll let you tank through most burst champion rotations, obviously not all of it, but mitigated at least a decent chunk of it. Has ridiculous range, allows you to collapse super easily in 1-3-1, get out of really sticky situations. It's pretty much just a superior flash on a significantly lower cooldown. I believe it's 70 seconds at max rank, level 16, and you do actually get some CDR in this build path, especially if you go AP and you go the Nashor's build. That's 20% straight up. So pretty ludicrous how frequently it's available and what it does. And unlike a lot of other AD carry alts, you don't have to stop auto attacking to use it. It's a pretty instantaneous dash. So the actual downtime you have from dashing across the fight is non-existent. It is essentially flash combined with barrier, which, if a 2,500 range flash with barrier on a 40-something second cooldown doesn't sound ludicrously powerful to you, you're probably trolling. I just think that Kaisa does so much for free in anyone's hands, no matter how good or bad you are. And I don't think, to be clear, I don't think she's like giga broken, but I do think that she is worth banning. And if you want to capitalize on being, let's say you are the stronger bot lane versus an opposing weaker bot lane at Worlds, I think it's worth banning her out simply because she will be a thorn in your side. She is kind of inevitable in what she'll contribute, and unless she's the sole carry on the enemy team, she will be a problem for you to deal with. Last and certainly not least, Splice are so close to being good. Now look, we all saw the Unicorns of Love versus Splice finals. We saw it went to 5 games, and after that, I lost all faith. All faith. I actually put Splice 4th in my pick'ems, which I'm starting to regret now, because while at the time I think it was right, we're now seeing Splice show up in a way I never thought they could. I witnessed greatness today, folks. Let's relive one of those moments together.
Standing. Really exciting to see, and this is exciting as well as Humanoid down towards the bottom side. The man in question is forced underneath his turret. The baby cage is beautiful. The double play back, and they're executed as Splice a gorgeous turret dive.
So fucking good. Let's go. That was fantastic play from Splice. And this is not the only play like this in the game. There are so many great moments of team coordination. North Scarin showing up. Chachi's playing Gangplank. Humanoid doing crazy stuff. But the synergy was there. They were dominating early game against FPX. It was awesome. But sadly, and this is why it's so close, right as I believed, and also right as I prematurely memed the victory, everything came crashing down on the back of a 50-50 Baron, on the back of a totally unnecessary risk. And it's like, Splice, you're 90% of the way there. You are like on the cusp of brilliance. It's like you take your kid to a dinner party and he says all these smart things to your friends and they're like, wow, your son's going to grow up, he's going to be a genius. And you're like, I know, I'm so proud. And then as you're leaving, he takes a shit on the floor. And you have to try to explain that he's got issues. I'm not a fan. Please, Splice. 10% more. You can do it. But today was a heartbreaker. And while I have changed my opinion, I think they will make it out of groups. Splice, you will make it out of groups. Stop doing dumb shit when you have a lead, for the love of God. So there they are, my 3 takeaways from day 3. Let me know what you think, if you agree or disagree. At the end of the week, I'm going to try to put together a video kind of recapping the first, I guess it'll be 12 takeaways, to see which ones kind of worked out, which ones didn't. As some people have already pointed out, some of them may be working better than others, so look forward to that. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching. Subscribe if you want to. Hit me up if you have any feedback. And yeah, Worlds is bitchin'.